Hello, we are once again at the end of another month. We are at the end of February 2026. That means our stats through the end of January 2026 are available. So let's get into the numbers for Polk County, Florida. Polk County saw 774 closed sales compared to 810 a year ago. That's a decrease of 4.4%. Cash sales as a percentage of closed sales, 27.9% of all sales were cash sales, compared to 27.3% a year ago, an increase of 2.2%. The median sales price in Polk County, $308,740. That's a decrease of $310,000 compared to a year ago. That's a decrease of 0.4%. The average sales price, $327,567. That's compared to $328,677 a year ago, a decrease of 0.3%. Median percent of original list price, sellers received 95.2% of original list price. That's compared to 96% a year ago, a decrease of 0.8%. The median time to contract, 57 days to go pending, compared to 61 days a year ago, a decrease of 6.6%. The median time to sale, 102 days compared to 106 days a year ago. That's a decrease of 3.8%. New pending sales, 1,210 compared to 1,171 a year ago, an increase of 3.3%. New listings, 1,817 new listings compared to 1,889 a year ago. That is a decrease of 3.8%. Pending inventory, 1,541 pending compared to 1,461 a year ago. That's an increase of 5.5%. Active inventory, 5,991 compared to 6,398 homes available a year ago. That's a decrease of 6.4%. And then month supply of inventory, 5.1 month supply of inventory compared to 5.2 month supply of inventory a year ago, a decrease of 1.9%. Tune in and we'll talk a little bit about what this all means for buyers and sellers in Polk County moving forward. So the numbers for this month here in January were pretty interesting. Activity was still pretty slow. However, a lot of the other indicators, especially the pending inventory, pending sales, indicate that this month here in February we'll probably see an increase, a pickup in the market. And that's what I'm actually seeing physically out there on the streets, in neighborhoods, with my clients. I'm seeing an increase in activity on my listings, and I'm seeing more buyers contact me to go look at homes. I think some of that has to do with, a lot of it has to do with mortgage rates. Mortgage rates this week dropped below 6% for the first time in 4 years. And so that presents a bit of an affordability relief for some buyers out there. Prices haven't dropped all that much. They have dropped some, but they haven't dropped a lot, but at least the mortgage rates have come down. If you're a buyer, what this means for you is now is the time to start looking and to get serious. Get yourself pre-approved. If you don't have a lender, I can connect you with some great lenders. But get yourself pre-approved. Let's see where your buying power sits at. And if it works, let's go out and start looking at houses, because as rates drop, more buyers are going to enter the market, which means there's going to be more competition for the best homes that are out there. Now, best home could mean a lot of different things. It could mean the nicest home. It could also mean the best home at the best value, right? And so those are the homes that are going to have a lot of competition for them. The lower those rates go, the more buyers that enter the market. So if you're a buyer, it's not time to wait now. I know a lot of buyers ask and want to try to time the market. It really is hard to time the market perfectly. Usually what happens when you try to time the market is you miss out because things go a different direction than you thought they were going to go. The best advice I can give to buyers out there is time in the market is better than trying to time the market. And what that really means is the best time for you to buy a home, if you're looking for a home for your primary residence, and I'm talking about people who are looking for a primary residence, the best time to buy a home is when you are financially ready, willing, and able to. Okay? It doesn't make sense to wait to try to get it when the interest rates are the cheapest, because you're going to pay the most for the home then. If you want to wait for home prices to go down, usually that's because interest rates are higher. You can't win that game. What you can win is getting into a home, start earning equity, both because your home will increase over time in value and because you're paying down the principal. So what happens is you pay down that principal, and in 3 to 5 years your home increases in value, usually 3 to 5% a year on average. Now you have a healthy amount of money you can use for your down payment on your next home. That's how you step up to a nicer home. And then you do the same thing over and over again until you get to where you want to be as far as your home goes. But that cycle never starts if you keep renting and you keep waiting. So the best advice I can give to a buyer is buy when you are financially able, willing, and ready to. And let's go ahead and let's talk about whether that is you and your situation. For sellers, what this means is you are going to start to see more buyers come out and be out there, which means there'll be more activity on your homes, hopefully. However, buyers are going to be still looking for the best homes. They're going to be expecting to be able to negotiate. They're going to expect to be able to do home inspection and ask for some repairs. They're probably going to be asking for some seller contingencies, help with closing costs, things like that. And so the more that you can do some of those things, the faster you're going to be able to get your home sold. If your home needs a lot of work, trying to get it ready, do some minor touch-ups if you can. If you want to talk, if you're thinking about selling and you want an idea what things you should do versus not do, give me a call, reach out, let me come through the house. I will tell you what makes financial sense for you to invest in, where you'll see a good return on your investment versus what would actually be just throwing money away, okay? But the best homes are going to start to see more activity, but we are not in the pandemic market where homes are going to sell in 2 days. Just went over the stats. It's taking 2 to 3 months to sell a home. And that's on average, which means there are some that take a lot longer than that. Now there are some that take a lot less than that. But those are going to be the homes that are priced really well, so pricing is still really important. If you say to me, if we're sitting in a listing appointment and I give you a range and you say, let's say I say the home's worth $300, and you say, well, I'll take $300, but I want to ask for $310, that way there's room to negotiate. That doesn't work. It never works. What ends up happening is less people look at your home, so your home sits longer. The longer it sits, the more people think there's something wrong with it. The more people think there's something wrong with it, the longer it's going to sit, and in the end, you end up having to drop the price to $290, $280, something like that, so you cost yourself money. You'd actually be much better off listing at around $290, $295 for that $300,000 home, and hopefully creating a bidding war where maybe you end up with $305 or $310. So pricing is more important than ever, and the home's value is one piece of pricing strategy. Your motivation for moving or needing to sell is another. And we can strategize that and talk about what that strategy is. If you've got a job transfer and you've only got a month to get out, we really need to price aggressively. If you're facing foreclosure, we really need to price aggressively. If you just want to sell, you don't have to sell, and you can afford to be patient, well, then we can probably test the market a little bit and press things a little higher. There's a strategy to it, and it really depends on what your motivation is. So that's what's out there as far as what to read into these numbers if you're a buyer or a seller. I hope you found this information helpful. If I can help you at all by consulting with you about your unique situation and help you strategize whether buying or selling is right for you, I'd be happy to. Remember, you can't miss with Chris. Reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you. Have a great day, everybody.